Welcome back to All-Star Fandom Prime. Tonight's episode is a bit different. This isn't about box office numbers, controversy, not even Batman. This is about legacy. Chadwick Boseman wasn't just an actor. He was a symbol, a standard, a reminder that of what excellence looks like and when it's rooted in purpose. From 42 to Get On Up, from Marshall to Black Panther, and later The Five Bloods and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, he didn't just take roles. He chose missions. So tonight we're celebrating the man, the myth, the impact, and let's start with The Crown. When Black Panther hit theaters in 2018, it wasn't just another Marvel movie. It was an event. Wakanda wasn't just a fictional nation. It was a possibility. It was pride. It was Afrofuturism on a global stage. But here's the thing. The movie only works if T'Challa works. And T'Challa worked because Chadwick carried him with dignity, calm, authority, and soft-spoken power. He didn't overplay royalty, he embodied it. He made stillness powerful. He made restraint commanding. He made kindness masculine. And suddenly, kids everywhere weren't just saying, "I want to be Iron Man." They were crossing their arms and saying, "Wakanda Forever." So, Black Panther shows up in Civil War. How did that feel once you saw him just sort of, because we saw him at the beginning, but not in suit. Mm-hmm. And then we see him on that rooftop and that iconic sort of shot of him just from the bottom up like that. Doc, what went through your mind when you saw Black Panther on the screen for the very first time?
You know, like we say around here, well, when we see somebody we like on the screen and say business is about to pick up.
That's exactly what happened.
Hey, dog. Hey, dog. He didn't ask no questions. He ain't say no name. He just started whooping you know what. Bro, bro, I don't even think I can explain how excited, because I was by myself when I went to go see Captain America Civil War. I was by myself. So I ain't had nobody to like get hype with.
Yeah,
but
same here. Like
whoever was theater, like I wanted to be like, yo, like it was wild. Needless to say, I lost some popcorn. You know what I'm saying? Had to replenish. But it was one of the greatest cinematic moments in history of an intro to me. Was
and think about it.
Intro.
And think about it. Spider-Man was introduced in that same movie.
Yeah, he was.
Two big moments.
Two big moments in that movie, but the build up to when like we saw T'Challa with his dad, and that whole thing goes down, and he talks to Black Widow. Is it
Scarlett Johansson?
Such a good moment, because she could see in his eyes like, you about to do something stupid, aren't you?
Yep. Ain't no talking
you about to do it. So and just to see that moment, and Jen, I'm asking you the same question too. Seeing him on screen for the very first time, the very first live action Black Panther within the MCU, showing up at probably the perfect time to be introduced into the MCU too. How did that moment feel?
So for me, that was a time where I wasn't really paying attention to casting things that were being revealed. So I had no idea Black Panther was going to be in this, if there was any indication that he was coming, because I don't remember.
So you saw it and didn't know he was in it?
Correct.
Oh God, I wish I could have been you.
I had no idea. So I'm sitting in the theater, and then we have that moment where he's there with his dad, and I went, no, what?
And you heard
we're doing this? I had a moment where I was a little bit of disbelief. I went, wait a minute. He said his name was, and then that young man, wait, is it?
Exactly. It was.
So I remember I was processing a lot because I couldn't believe that we were getting this in Civil War, because I had no idea. I really wasn't following, all of the nitty gritty of what was to come. So it was such a pleasant surprise for me to see him to see Black Panther come on and be introduced in Civil War. And like what you just mentioned, we also got Spider-Man, which I also didn't know was coming within the Civil War either. So
in the BU, man.
So it was overwhelming for me in a very good way, and I had to remember to stay calm and to not yell in the movie.
And what was so good about that one too is that those Captain America movies, we had this discussion before about grounded superhero movies, right?
That's one of them.
And this has to be it with everything again, visions in it. We get it. It's some capes. We get it.
Yeah.
But that moment where we saw, well, I say personally for me, I saw him like running just like Cap, maybe even faster than Cap.
Yep.
To try to get Bucky, and no boys running through the streets like that. I was like, this is everything that I dreamt.
I think for me, the moment where he scratches the shield.
Mm-hmm. And
again, I remember going.
And knowing the comic book connection with Captain America and Black Panther and Wakanda, having him appear in that movie
appropriate,
was perfect. It was so. And then just out of the suit, Chadwick was like, okay, this guy's a king, man, and he could do king things, and just his presence,
gravitas is what it was.
Everything in that movie, even the ending. How he had that discussion with Zemos and just that alone, because it was about vengeance, man. It was like, hey, my father's dead, like he died today. Someone's got to pay.
Yeah,
like he didn't care. He didn't care at all. And I will say, like from a moment standpoint, at the hangar, this is probably the one moment I've rewatched the most in MCU. I can probably say that definitively. Is the airport hangar. The airport hangar scene.
Oh man,
is such a good scene, and I know I might be killing the lead, but that's the one that gave me chills because we got him. Like, what did he jump off a War Machine? Yeah, War Machine brought him in, and he let go, tucked and rolled, boom, and he's walking with them, and then
like nothing,
and just that side by side, and I'm seeing a comic book come to life in front of my eyes, and Black Panther is at the forefront.
I think my mouth was open that entire segment just because I had no idea, so it just kept adding up bit by bit.
For that whole lineup at the hangar scene, I think everybody's jaw was dropped at that.
Yeah,
because even Peter was like, Peter was essentially like, "Oh, we doing this?" Like when they started running, he was like, "They're not stopping."
Okay.
They're not stopping.
So, well, I want to jump on to something that you were kind of alluding to a little bit, and I might be, to your point, jumping on the lead a little bit. For me, when I saw Chadwick, I had no question that he was T'Challa. He owned the character. The moment you saw him, he owned the character. There was no like pulling out moment of it, because you know how sometimes with certain films and certain actors, you're like, well, didn't get that at all.
Like you're better in the suit, you know, that sort of thing.
Like right, like that kind of thing. Like he was very in tune with T'Challa. You accepted him in every facade you saw him in throughout the arcs of the film. And I know I'm jumping ahead here. This was my first Chadwick for me. So
oh wow, yeah. So
it was my first Chadwick. So I was blown away by his performance and how he performed this character in all the different facades that he did. I was and on top of that, because I had no idea we were going to get Black Panther in this, my mind is still blown.
I know, and then we move from Civil War, and we go to Wakanda. And first time we've seen Wakanda in the MCU. We got let me backtrack for a little bit. Another moment at the end of Civil War where we're putting the White Wolf to sleep a little bit, or Bucky to sleep. We look out and we see that Panther on the mount. Like we see that, and we hear the music. I think a little bit from that, and I'm like, boy,
it's like a light brushing.
Yeah, it was like, boy, you telling me that's where we going? Like that's what we doing.
It's like, wait. We're going to Africa. Hold on.
We're heading over there. And what was so dope about it, the next movie comes in. I know that I saw that trailer. I probably rewatched that trailer, I don't know, 100 times because I loved him. We all loved him in Civil War, right?
Yeah.
And then Doc, we get to Wakanda, man, and just seeing him walking the streets of Wakanda in the Wakanda drip and all that stuff too, man. I know how we felt when we saw him in Civil War. How we feeling when he went back home,
bro? I'm gonna say when he landed and his mom was there and his sister was there and the whole greeting and the love and the whole thing, I loved it, man. They gave me the Wakanda that I saw in my brain from the comic books. Like, this is how you wanted Wakanda to look. You know what I'm saying? It was bright, it was colorful, it was beautiful, and the different areas and the different tribes that had different uses for the vibranium that they harvest. I mean, it was, man, it was
extended the
and then his
greatly
portrayal as King T'Challa, as he plays a different person when he's Black Panther. It is phenomenal. He's another one I say, man, you have to take out your notepad and take some notes in acting, because he was phenomenal as a king, as a brother, as a son. I mean, he was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Jen, so not knowing, like, from Civil War we were getting Black Panther, and then you're surprised and like, oh, we going to Wakanda. How did that movie feel for you when you first saw it?
Oh man, I'm gonna get a little personal here because at the time when that film came out, I was very new in walking out being an 24/7, 365-day bald woman. So seeing that film and seeing how Wakanda was, to what Doc said, presented, how it expanded, but then seeing how they really did not hold back on the culture. And to what Doc said with the colors and the different tribes and how they come together, how they are Wakanda together by respecting each other as a whole, but then respecting the individuality of each tribe. And then, seeing the difference between King T'Challa and then T'Challa as Black Panther. And he's still doing it too, because he's getting called out. It's like, you were a little reckless. It's like, I was not reckless. I behaved perfectly. that
he had to do what he had to do there. You know what I mean? Like,
he's still finding his way in Black Panther, so to speak, because he's new to the job.
Yeah,
let's put it that way. But
they won on the job right now. I mean,
exactly. He hasn't even gone through like the traditional ceremonies yet to basically show he is the king. All that. So, like, to even see all that, like the ceremonies he goes through within Wakanda to basically still be the Black Panther, all of that they just went all in, and then the music, it felt very empowering for me. And it was, I remember, I think a lot of people said this, finally, we're getting this. We're seeing something like this on full display. Nothing was cut. Nothing was held back. They intentionally put a budget to this to do it right. Finally, we're getting it.
And to piggyback off that, Jen, my favorite moment was, obviously, we can talk about the movie, just phenomenal movie. But mine was like the impact outside of the movie. Seeing the movie theaters packed with people dressed in African dashikis or African royal garb, or like seeing that part of it, like,
bro, they were still dressing like from Coming to America, dog. It don't matter, bro. They whatever it had to do with Africa, they was dressing in it and coming to see Black Panther.
It's like the Joker's like, is Ed Murphy gonna make a cameo in Wakanda?
and that was that was a good thing about it for me, because like it extended and showed, like, man, like, and this is mainly through Chadwick's performance too, that we've over time, all the way leading up to Black Panther, is that he picked, like, it was more than just a movie at the end of the day.
It was
because we talked about how many people who would go see it or how they dressed to go see it. And now, Jen, you just said like, finally, this is it. This showed Hollywood to like a black-led superhero movie. Again, more credit to Chadwick too, because he has a catalog before this and after. But that really sold the point that, okay, we're gonna come out for this movie. So that was the biggest thing. Like, hey, we're part of the MCU too. We're gonna show it.
Yeah, and I think out of all of the characters Chadwick has performed, this one had a bit more weight to it because this is really the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, we saw African culture, even if it's within the comic book realm, on such a display as this. We may have had touches in it in different realms of cinema, but it was nothing like on this scale.
Yeah, and this is Afrofuturism at its finest too.
Yeah, that part too, absolutely.
Possibilities of like this is what we are capable of as well too. So I thought like Black Panther, great movie. Chadwick did a great job, but I think the messaging in that is and the impact of those movies that like that movie was so huge. They were giving away like free tickets to like these black schools. Yeah, and there was one, the kid dancing on the chair doing that.
Yeah,
that was when he found out they were going to Black Panther. I think
that forever meme that will always be used as a happy dance was because of this film.
Funny note, that kid just graduated from like high school like last year.
Oh my gosh, he's out of high school. Wow.
Yeah. But no, like that's the impact of what that movie was, and I was so happy we got it. I knew that we were going to have more Wakanda. We were going to see him. We had Infinity War and Endgame on the way too. He was going to play integral parts into that. So just for a movie like that, and like Jen, you said that might have been like the height of what we saw, like just the culture at. Because now I'm just thinking about Coming to America. Coming to America was, hey man. That was culture at its finest too.
Yes,
like just
the dance. I won't deny that at all.
Was perfect, man. Like that was it on a global scale too. But not to this. This is essentially Marvel's greatest. I'm gonna say, I hope I can get in trouble. Greatest black superhero, and this is his time to shine.
1,000,000%.
And Chadwick being T'Challa knocked it out of the park in every iteration that we saw him in. Yeah. So, hey man, that was. I'm not saying that made him, but boy, that put a lot of eyeballs on him, and it made us take
a lot more eyeballs.
And that definitely made us take
some other films.
Yeah, and that definitely made me take a look at him a little more. But what makes Chadwick different from most movie stars is that he didn't start with a fictional king. He started with real ones. Before Wakanda, Chadwick Boseman was Jackie Robinson in 42, and that wasn't just a baseball role. That was playing the man who broke Major League's baseball color barrier under relentless racism and doing it with restraint instead of rage. Then came James Brown in Get On Up. That performance was electric, swagger, rhythm, vulnerability. And then Thurgood Marshall in Marshall, a courtroom lion before he became the first Black Supreme Court Justice. Notice the pattern. Chadwick Boseman kept choosing Black excellence, Black pioneers, Black resilience. He wasn't chasing fame, he was curating legacy. So why do you think Chadwick gravitated towards those historical icons, Doc? 42, with Jackie Robinson, James Brown, Thurgood Marshall. Why were those the ones that he sort of gravitated to? And I will say this as from a quote too that he had on his Instagram page. He says, "I don't do things unless I'm inspired to do them. And I always have to make the assumption that other artists are doing the same thing." Doc.
I like that quote. I think the reason he chose the scripts that he chose was because of legacy. He was thinking about future, rather than let me just do something to make money. He was thinking about, no, if I'm going to attach my name to it, I want it to mean something. And from the roles he chose, from the list you just said, Marshall, 42, James Brown, when he played the detective in 21 Bridges, and so many other films. When they played the Marines and the Five Bloods. I mean, it's so many roles that he picked. Even the character he played in Rainey's Black Bottom, was still within his realm of legacy. He had so much range when you think about when he played on was it The Gods of Egypt? Like, I didn't even know he was going to be in that movie until he showed up.
I think I've seen that one.
Wait, he's in The Gods of Egypt?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So okay,
wow.
Well, but you learn something
again,
new.
Great movies, but those historical ones as well.
Yes.
Just gravitating towards those.
Legacy. That is why I think he chose those roles. He wasn't doing it for money. Don't get me wrong. Did he get rich and famous? Of course. But I think he was doing it to get his art out of him. You know what I'm saying? And he left us with his art, which is, something I absolutely love. So that's why I think he was doing it.
And then I'll toss to you real quick after this one statement I have on why.
Sure.
When he was in 42 and then he did James Brown, Get On Up, I said to myself, is he just gonna play historical
black people?
The rest of that wasn't, because let's think about it. Like, you go from Jackie Robinson, and then he was in Thurgood Marshall as Marshall as Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this gonna be just? It was like Angela Bassett playing everybody's mama. Like,
everybody's mama.
Everybody she played Michael's mama.
And
did she play Biggie's mama?
Yeah.
She played. So I was like, is he just gonna play like?
Hold on, she played Trey mama and Boys in the Hood.
She everybody's mama. Well, that happens sometimes, I think, to actors, especially when there's a certain niche that they are naturally good at. Because I've seen phenomenal actors, just like there's like Christopher Lee. He always plays a villain. I can't think of a time where Christopher Lee ever plays a good guy. Ever. He's always playing a character that has very dark and sinister capabilities.
Yeah, I can't.
I believe there's an actress. She's in Doctor Strange as Doctor Strange's love interest. Her name is Rachel. With her, I have found that she has been, in a way, typecast where she's playing a love interest to someone who time travels. She has quite a few films that are like that, and I've had that thought, like, can you give this woman something else, please?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they excel at it so well, just like
they do
at it so well. Because I will say, like, 42 was, I want to say, maybe I've seen him in other things before because I looked at the filmography before, but it wasn't until 42 where it was like, okay, this is Chadwick Boseman, and he played Jackie Robinson the way I've read people talk about Jackie Robinson. That's how he felt. Or when I read books about Jackie Robinson, just with so much dignity, and it almost like it's hard to. It seems like it's just him, like he carries himself with dignity, right? He carries himself a certain way,
he does,
and all these roles require that. And if I need, even Black Panther, again, not historical in the sense of being a black comic book character, superhero comic book character, it's just, he fits the bill. And just going through this Rolodex or filmography, Rolodex is way too old.
We can say Rolodex. I call my brain with movie facts a Rolodex. Like, let me get the Rolodex going. Hold on.
Nobody knows what the Rolodex is anymore, though, Gia. Not many people do.
It's okay. We know what it is.
But, Jen, real quick question on this one, too. You said you saw Black Panther was your introduction to.
So first,
right?
Civil War was.
Civil War.
And then going to Black Panther, and then I ran back the play to see other things.
Yeah. And I will say, like, his intensity or his, man, it's hard to put into words, like his performances too, because we get Jackie Robinson very, very meek, mild mannered.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to James Brown, who's just, lack
Wow.
of better term, coked out of his mind, man.
Hey, man, he's a wild dude, dog. James Brown was wild, dog.
So, Jen, not many actors have that amount of range.
That's true.
To do that. And we talked about how he picked historical figures. Did you answer that question of why?
No, I didn't get the answer.
Okay. So this will go through it too. So why do you think he gravitated towards those? And why were they so like a complete 180 or a complete coin flip from mild-mannered Jackie Robinson to James Brown?
So for me, as I look at his filmography and seeing the roles that he has taken on for his artistry, for me, like the word that keeps coming up is decisiveness. Like there was a decisiveness to the roles he took, where it like because we have seen so many movies and so many TV shows. You can tell when an actor is just taking a job because it's a job, and they're just on set to be on set. And we've seen actors and actresses play characters. We're like, can you please try just a little bit? Please.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to shade her in this. No problem. Let's keep going.
Yeah. So for me, like looking at Chadwick's career, I just see this operation of decisiveness within him. And you know, these historical figures, you know, they're part of this culture, this history that's important. So, and to what you were talking about, you know, all of these roles require integrity as well, which I think Chadwick absolutely has. I see Chadwick as a man of integrity, and how that really influences the way he has excuse me, I'm sorry, how it really influenced how he worked. So that's what I see. But then if I try to put myself in his shoes, if I were an actress playing the field, I'm going to want to take on roles that challenge me as an artist. And some of my most favorite actors that I love watching are like Chadwick, Helena Bonham Carter, Johnny Depp. Their scale and their range is just almost unending to what they can play.
It's ridiculous.
And then like with even Hayden Christensen, I heard him quote once in one of his interviews that he said, I purposely choose roles that challenge me, that push me. And I can see that with Chadwick. That's why I think they're so 180 from either side, because Jackie Robinson is so different than Get On Up. Two polar opposites, man. So I can see that from an artist perspective, that he's gonna want to take on roles that challenge him, that expand him, so he can get more tools in the toolkit and see what he can do himself.
Yeah, and I'll close on just this question. We'll wrap up this segment. But do you think he saw his acting as activism in a way?
Ooh.
Maybe. I can't, because that's a hard question to ask.
Yeah, but we're just seeing what we have on the paper, big guy.
I'm gonna tell you, look from just looking at the filmography and the way he acted, bro. Black Panther, James Brown, Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall,
right?
The oh my God, what's the movie where it's called King Messiah? Have you seen? Is that Messiah the King? Yeah, I'm probably messing it up. Where he's in Africa, he's looking for his sister, I believe. It's the roles that he picked. I mean, he picked.
They're very within the culture too,
and they are very, very within the culture. Which I appreciate it, because you know what? Yes, Message from the King. I'm sorry, yeah, that's
Message from the King,
Message
Jacob King.
Yes,
is that the one that I always say like that was his Black Panther side mission?
I think that's the one. Yeah, he's on the cover with the chains.
Oh no, that's not it.
Okay,
that's not the one, I don't think.
So you hadn't seen this one yet?
No, but
it's one of his little lesser known movies, bro.
The one that Jen just said is the one that I keep thinking is like that's his Black Panther side mission, because he still has his African accent. Yeah, and but that's not the one you're talking about, is it?
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. When he's on the front cover with the chain in his hand.
I'm about to look that one up.
Yeah, you
know.
have to check it out. Dog. It's
Okay.
a really interesting film. But back to what you're saying, I think that could have been part of his activism, him picking these roles along with him trying to reach, like I said, leave his legacy, not reach his legacy, but leave his legacy. You know, for his future.
Jen, how about you?
I mean, until you presented the question, I've never thought of it. With that said, I can't deny the possibility for it, because especially when I think of, Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, just how the culture was so ingrained, like part of the DNA of it. I can't deny that there is a possibility to it, because the fact that these roles that he played are such pillars in our history. So yeah, I can see that in a way for him, if that was what he was doing, that if you have the opportunity to do that and it's through your artistry and what you are wanting to do with your craft, why not do it that way?
Yeah, because again, seeing everybody he's portraying, it's hard to not think that like it was a greater purpose for him to make sure like these stories were told. But here's where the story sort of shifts from power to almost unbelievable. While filming Black Panther, while doing press tours, while appearing in Infinity War and Endgame, while shooting The Five Bloods and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Chadwick Boseman was battling colon cancer. And we didn't know. No press conference, no sympathy campaign, no headlines asking for prayers. He just worked. He visited sick children in hospitals while he himself was battling for his life. That changes how you watch him. When you see T'Challa standing tall, when you see him say, "I am not dead," when you see that quiet strength, it hits different. Because that wasn't acting. That was who he was. He would later receive a posthumous Oscar nomination for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and even in that performance, you see fire, you see urgency, you see someone leaving everything on the table. Jen, so how did learning about his private battle change how you see his work or saw his work after?
Man, it hit really heavy for me because my mother had cancer and I was a caregiver to her. So I know what that looks like behind closed doors, and having that understanding of what his family was going through and how he chose to say nothing at all during any of his filming after he received his diagnosis. The phrase that comes to my mind is a pillar of strength. And now when I look at his work, especially in Black Panther, I can't view it the same way anymore. It's forever changed how I view him as a man who wanted to do the thing he believed he was called to do. And just how he poured his whole self into his performance, not letting this thing stop him or prevent him to do this. Because he could have just easily just said, "I'm tapping out. Can't do it." And then throw a wrench into everything. No, he said, "Nope, this is my mantle. I'm going to run my race until the end." And that's what he did. And that the last piece that we have of him was in What If?
For sure.
And I can't help but seeing him as T'Challa and hearing his voice in that project. There's just this like, wow, my God. No. Like there's a weight there. It's hard to explain because it's like there's like a weight to it. But I remember when when I heard about it, excuse me, when I saw his later works, because one of the things I noted that clicks for me, I'm like, that's why he was so skinny.
That's why he was losing weight.
Right, because at first I thought he just did it for the role, because we know many actors that did that, like
He's that
Joaquin
type of
Phoenix.
actor.
He's that type of actor. And then Joaquin Phoenix with Joker, he lost so much freaking weight.
Yeah, when we talk about Christian Bale here.
That as well. So for me at the time, seeing that and knowing that there are actors that actually do that for their roles, I didn't question it at the time. But then when this revelation came and having a different understanding of what that is, I just sank in my seat, to be honest. And then as we all found out what happened afterward, and then when he passed away, it was heavy.
Yeah, that was definitely a heavy moment, especially finding out about it, because it was just I don't remember what day it was, but Emily and I were in Florida. It was like, hey, let's go down to the beach and like socially distance there, I suppose, or whatever. I think it was around that time, right? So
we'll stand in the ocean away from people.
Yeah. But and we woke up that morning, I saw it come across my phone, and I will say, like, it broke me a bit that morning, because not even just like, man, is that what? And then you start realizing, like you said, was that why he was losing so much weight? And then you sort of try to put the pieces and stuff together in your head. And then at the same time, I was thinking, like, boy, and we'll get into a little bit about just the role of Black Panther. I was like, he's T'Challa, man. Like, that's going to be interesting to sort of see down the road too. But even just looking at his entire work, from like during that time, that man did Black Panther, he did Infinity War, he did Endgame, three of the most taxing like Marvel movies, and three of the greatest ones of all time.
Like, he had to work out for that. He had to do his regimen. He had to have specific nutrition, like, and then like for anyone who's never been a caregiver in that situation, what that does to the body, to the mind, to the person that's going through it. Again, this man is a pillar of strength.
Yeah, and I think that's probably like the key word is strength for him, because to be able to do all of that, and you're doing something that you love. He didn't make a post about it. He didn't do anything about it. It was like, this is my work. This is what I'm going to be. I know what I'm going to be known for.
Yeah.
And Jen, just to circle back too, he also won an Emmy for outstanding character voice performance. Performance for What If 2.
Yeah, he did. That really, like, when I heard that just really made my heart sing. It was really well deserved.
For sure. And again, this would be a moment pretty much for the future of Marvel, because we'll talk about that. This is what our show is about too. But I will say this too, to go through that, his real life strength might have been greater than any role he's ever played.
Yeah.
Because for a man to be able to do what he did, to do the movies that he did, the physical taxing movies that he did, and then pass away, and we just like, hey, just one random day Chadwick Boseman passed away, but he's been dealing with this since 2018.
Yep.
That's
a fight.
Yeah, and he told it, and I was really happy that his circle kept it tight too. You know what I mean? Like, that was probably huge for him.
Well, yeah, because I, just speaking from my own experience, my mother said that too. She only wanted certain people in our family to know what was going on. She didn't want it broadcasted out there, because it's a very personal thing. And, you know, the goal is to overcome and conquer this. And when you have a lot going on, because walking through that is a lot, like appointments, treatments, doctors, surgeries, it is very overwhelming, and you need a tight-knit system to keep you grounded, remind you who you are, what you're doing, and to also respect what you want to do. So I commend, you know, his family for respecting his wishes and honoring what he wanted to do, and to finish out the race the best way he could, because it is not easy, especially with that.
for sure. And so after his passing in 2020, Marvel made that decision that they wouldn't recast T'Challa. So instead, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, honor his absence within the story. That grief was real, on screen and off. I'll kick this one off because I went and saw it. Doc, I think you went and saw it the first night too, because we talked about it right after it. And I'll tell you this. I think I went and saw it again too, because I went back to see it with Emily that weekend. And the beginning of that movie, just to be able to see the Marvel intro with him in it, like that Marvel, I in my mind, the first thing I said, like, boy, that's real classy Marvel, because a lot of movie studios would have put this movie on the back burner, until they tried to recast somebody. But your director is Ryan Coogler, and that and having the bond that they have, and knowing how impactful the first Black Panther movie was, and knowing how much more this was going to be too, I'm glad there wasn't like a recast situation here, or like, hey, we're not going back to Wakanda for a while, because a lot of other movie studios would do something like that,
which would have been understandable, because we've even seen this in the Star Wars world with the Ahsoka show with Ray Stevenson with his shocking passing, and it's like, what do you do? Do we not recast it? Do we write him off? Because that's happened too, where we just write off a character and they go off into the sunset. And we have seen shows. There was a certain show about a family with a husband and wife and 3 children. The main actor, the father, passed away unexpectedly, and what they chose.
It was John Ritter. I don't remember the
Thank you. Show, yeah. It was John's passing, and kind of taking like what Wakanda Forever did. They did a season where the whole cast just mourned the loss of his actor.
It was like, let's deal with it.
Let's deal with it. So I love that they did this for Wakanda, because it was so shocking to the world, and it was like, you know what, we're gonna grieve together.
And I think it was handled so well, even just the opening scene, and then the send off that he got too. It hit a different way. I will admit, like, I saw that movie twice in theaters that weekend, and those first, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it was like watery eyes throughout that entire thing.
I will admit, it took me a while to watch that movie. I couldn't go for a while.
I haven't. I will admit. Did I even watch it? No, I haven't. I haven't rewatched it since the movies. Those 2 times were those 2 times were my only 2 times. But I know that impact of that. So Doc, how important was Wakanda Forever to honor Chadwick's character? Well, Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa in that movie, and not even a recast. They were like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're going to use this movie to honor a guy who went through this battle, who came to work every day, who put a suit on every day, who was our very first Black Panther. We're not going to recast him. We're going to use this movie to honor him, and we'll move the story in a different direction.
Oh no, I thought it was super impactful the way they did it. Like you just described, the whole first 15 minutes of the film was essentially his funeral. You know, I mean, because I don't remember seeing his funeral on TV like Aretha Franklin or Whitney Houston.
I believe
it wasn't publicized like that, was it?
I believe it was private.
Yeah.
They honored him,
right?
They honored him on a global scale, which was, phenomenal. And I appreciate the way Ryan and his team handled that. And as far as them not replacing him so soon or replacing T'Challa so soon, I thought it was brilliant. And the little nugget that they left at the end of him leaving a son, I was like, okay, I see what we're doing.
I lost it.
and
I was like, I see what we're doing.
And that was such a way, because again, the word we always use, like, is emotional, is grounded, right? This one is more emotionally grounded than any other Marvel movie ever. Like, there are moments of like just silence in this movie. And you feel it. You feel everything from it.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
And just to have a movie where like we get an actor send off, because most actors really don't get sent off. It's not like
No.
Kobe
Not like
going.
that.
It's not like Kobe last game, him dropping 60 and saying,
No.
"Okay, Mamba out." It ain't that. You don't get that
No.
as an actor most times, right? This was an opportunity for, like Doc, you said, and I love you the way you said it. It was on a global stage that they were able to honor Chadwick Boseman and people would grieve together with the cast, with the crew, with all Marvel fans and superhero fans, and just Chadwick Boseman fans. All had opportunity to be like, okay, you've done a great job. You gave us Black Panther.
Well, people walking out of that movie hugging each other like it was a real family, like it was a real family member.
Really,
yeah. You felt like it, like and especially everything that impacted through that movie too. At the end of it, it wasn't out of the way to just be like, "Hey, brother, give me a hug, man."
Yeah,
like, it wasn't out of the way. You know what I mean? It was. Everybody would have given you a hug on the way out, but it sort of goes to it too, Jen. Like, is that character bigger than one actor with Black Panther? We've had this discussion a lot, right? Or did Chadwick define him permanently?
That's hard to answer because, like what we said earlier, Chadwick has such a range, has such a depth to him, and the way he approaches the character. I will say this. It's like with Genie, for example, with Robin Williams, when they announced Aladdin was going to come out, and we were all like, I'm sorry, Robin passed away.
How are we going to do this?
How are we going to do this?
Yeah.
And a lot of fans were like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's Robin Williams. Why are you messing up Robin Williams? So I think there's always going to be that tension of when you have an actor such as Chadwick perform this role so flawlessly that you can't even fathom someone else playing Black Panther unless it's a different era of Black Panther within the comic book realm. So I don't want to say that he has permanently defined it. Has he set the bar? 1,000,000%.
Sure.
He has set the bar. Because the other thing too with comic books, as Black Panther does continue on, it's a different person each time who takes up the mantle. So you can't really hold that person 100% to that exact standard because it's still individual person. So it could be said the same thing with this. So with however they choose to move forward from this moment on, that we have honored Chadwick, this era of Black Panther, and now moving on to, we have Shuri, and then what comes after Shuri. Those are two different people, and I think it's going to be fine with how it's going to be played out because it's a different Black Panther, it's a different person. It's not.
And on top of that, Jen, just having the line of succession still be in line with
correct
with
exactly
how everything goes. This is son who will eventually take it
right.
up.
Because I would say this conversation would be different if Marvel would have said, okay, we're going to pause and then recast T'Challa, and it was somebody else for the rest of the plan they had for Chadwick. This conversation would be completely different if they would have done that way, but that's not where we are.
And depending on who they chose, had they went that way, boy,
that
whole thing could have been right in the toilet. That whole little situation could have had an uproar in the whole Marvel universe.
Yeah, like it would have been a completely different conversation, a different reaction, because when Will Smith was offered the role for Genie, he turned it down at first. He said, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to do that.
And here's the thing. And I kind of had a problem with some people. And it's like, Will Smith can't play the Genie. Man, Will Smith is a super talented guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, on the music side and on the acting side. So, I mean.
Go ahead. Sorry. I meant to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
And just similar to Robin Williams, like Genie is Robin Williams. Will Smith Genie is Will Smith. Like that's how you can get away with it.
That's what it was.
Just be you. Like Robin Williams was him. Fresh Prince. I mean, Will's gonna be Genie. Like it was just Will Smith.
And I still think both genies are absolutely phenomenal.
It worked
in their
for me.
Own way.
It worked for
Yeah.
me.
I was happy with it.
The worst part of that movie was Jafar, though, by far. But that's for another day. Jafar was the worst part of that movie.
I call him Asher from Spartacus. You know they gave Asher his own series. They say it's good.
Yeah, Asher, yeah.
But anyway,
Jafar was that was the worst part of that movie.
So we have to talk about Gaston, and now we have to talk about Jafar. We're just gonna add it up.
He was the worst. He was the worst part of that movie. I mean, yeah, he was. Come on. But yeah, this isn't about Aladdin. This is about.
But no, so like to finish off, I think because of the decisions that were made, the bar has definitely been set by Chadwick for Black Panther. But for the way the line of succession is going to continue, I don't think it's going to hinder anything.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do like a little final round reflection. Let's make it fun. Doc, we talked about it a little bit, and there might be another movie that we never brought up or talked about. What scene is like your go-to Chadwick Boseman scene? If there's something that you have, and Jen, I'm gonna come around to you and ask you the same thing. Okay. If there's a scene where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna show somebody this scene, what's your go-to?
Oh
man, that's a hard one. Out of all the movies he's done,
yeah, what one? It's a go-to. It gives you chills. It resonates with you, like all of that.
Honestly, is the scene with him and his cousin standing under the Black Panther tunnel watching the sunset.
Mm.
And that scene right there where his cousin was like, just bury me with the ancestors. You know, because man, that line and that moment right there, because T'Challa was like, man, we can save you, dog. You don't have to.
Yeah, you ain't gotta die.
That right there is king shit. I'm sorry.
He can be locked
up. Duck sounds.
Yes. Bro, I thought that was one of the most impactful for me moments of that entire film was that moment right there. And that's a moment I show my daughter, I show my nephews. I just love that moment. But that's the one for me.
Jen, I'll give you a little bit more time. I'm go get mine out. Get this man a shield. And then to see him running next to seeing both of them break from the pack. That's it, man. Like just that entrance of all of them getting off the ship and like and War Machine playing around with like, yeah, bow to him, or like we don't do that here. Like that, like that showing the king like nature of him, and then when business about to pick up, right?
Business about to pick up.
Get this man a shield.
Get this man a shield.
And to see them running, just chopping up right next to each other.
Yeah,
that's the comic book images I've always had in my head of them tag teaming and doing a mission or something together. Yeah, man. That's, and I'm sure there's another one, but we talked about Civil War, the hangar scenes and stuff like that, or his talk with like Scarlett Johansson with Black Widow. Those were good, but yeah, that get this man a shield is always gonna be ready to go. I don't know when I'm ever gonna use it, but when it's time, I'm gonna say that line just like that.
But I want people to understand. I know we have talked about his Black Panther role real heavy, and we hadn't talked about his other roles, but there are moments in Get On Up with he and I forget the other young man name from True Blood, when there are some really true moments of acting in that film, from his voice work that he had to go through to get James Brown's tone, from the voice work he had to go to get his pitch, and all of the stuff, man. Chadwick Boseman was a phenomenal actor, man.
And Get On Up might be one of those movies where it's like you don't fully know what it is yet when you watch it, because at first I was like, okay, just a little biopic, but then it felt like it turned to something else. But that's how wild James Brown's life was.
Yes,
so it was.
Didn't know. It could have went left, and it could have went far left. You understand me? But I think, then another thing about Get Up. Is people were comparing him to Jamie Foxx's Ray, because of course Jamie Foxx won an Oscar for Ray, and everybody was comparing anybody that does another Black iconic musician has to be on that level. And I think a lot of people didn't really watch that film because they were trying to compare him to Ray without even seeing that film. Which, if you haven't seen Get On Up. I suggest you go and see it because I think Chadwick Boseman does a great job in that film.
For sure. Jen, how about you?
So the first one that comes to my mind, as you can see, I am not dead and I do not yield. But then, like, to Doc's point, like in May Rainey's Black Bottom, just the emotion he shows in that film, the scene where he's crying and yelling, the way you feel that emotion in that scene, and like to the question you asked earlier about the shocking revelation that he was sick, and I can never watch that scene the same way again because it's like, this man is in pain and he's using it. Like I just view everything he has done ever since his diagnosis differently in the way he is performing these roles and how he's using that. But yeah, for me, it's that moment. As you can see, I am not dead and I do not yield.
I think that's a good one to sort of close on. So, because this has been another episode of All-Star Fandom Prime here on Wednesday nights at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us. Let us know what your favorite Chadwick Boseman moments were throughout the comments, and share, like, subscribe, do all the social media stuff and online and YouTube stuff over on Instagram and TikTok on All-Star Fandom Show. And you have an idea for a show, drop in the comments and check out our email with All-Star Fandom.
We want to talk about it.
Yeah, our email address, allstarfandomshow@gmail.com. Drop them there, send them to us. We'll pull them up on the show too. But it's been another episode of All-Star Fandom Prime. Until next time,
Peace.
Peace.